Hey guys, we have a challenge today. We have Raymond and Fernando on the Wheel of Death. Here's how it works. You gotta spin the wheel, whatever style it lands on, you have 2 hours to tattoo on fake skin, and whoever does the best wins. Here you go, buddy. Okay, let's see. Oh, traditional. All right, Fernie, do your spin.
Spin it fast.
Oh, shoot.
Oh,
what is that?
Okay.
Horror.
Make your money, whore.
Come on, Ned, this ain't a whorehouse, it's a horror house.
All right, guys, you got 2 hours to figure out what you want to do, starting now.
All right, and they're getting started. So one of the things that we did here is we purposely did was a random spin per user. We didn't want them to do the same thing. We're kind of mixing it up. That was on purpose. We just want to see how they do when it comes to their specific random option.
Okay.
I think Raymond's wasting time.
All right.
I think Shane distracted people.
As always.
You have 2 hours?
Actually?
Yeah. All right, not to a great start. So far, Raymond's getting distracted by Shane. Fernando is just now realizing, despite having been in the video for multiple minutes, that he's actually tattooing today. So probably not a great start with their 2 hour session.
But his time's coming. I'll distract him pretty soon here.
If this was you, what would you jump to for horror or traditional? I mean, what do you think about Chucky? Is that something you would jump at right off the bat?
Yeah, that's probably my go-to.
You'd go with Chucky?
Yeah, for sure.
He has his picked. Does that concern you?
Nah. I have the idea what I want to do.
All right, so this is Raymond's option.
Well, that looks good like that. I would have kept it black and gray. Too bad it was traditional.
Yeah. All right, so here's Fernando, and it looks like he's gonna start drawing manually. What do you think about this strategy? You think that's gonna work out for him in a 2 hour challenge?
I think that's he's just improvising. I would have used an app to just hurry up and just stencil it. I'm over that stencil like that.
So how much time do you think this stencil's gonna take?
But with his fingers, that's actually pretty interesting.
Probably not the best route to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you do this. Yeah, look how good that looks.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna have you do this.
See that? Something's wrong with
It looks like somebody may have
Classic.
mentored him during this challenge.
Well, I'm glad he listens.
You think that's a 2 hour session right there?
That's a 3 hour session. The solid 3 hours.
All right.
No breaks.
Looks like Raymond's having a little bit of trouble with the stencil machine. Not a big deal though. Looks like he's gonna do traditional, which is pretty straightforward, heavy lines, some shading. I mean, is that it, or is there anything else to it?
It's just real heavy shading, heavy lines.
Yeah.
But a traditional gun doesn't look scary.
You look scary.
Doesn't look threatening.
Yeah. All right, so it looks like Fernie's, as you call him, Fernando is a little bit behind the 8 ball, and he has from what it looks like, he has a lot more detail to cover than Raymond.
Yeah, he does.
So if you're saying this is a 3 hour tattoo, and he has 2 hours, it's gonna either be a rush piece or he's just not gonna be able to get it done, so.
But the good thing about that particular drawing is it has a lot of heavy shadows. I would focus on the shadows.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty self-explanatory. You see those shadows, that scar, you already know what it is. Like, you don't gotta guess it.
Okay. All right, so.
Like, just even that, look, even if it was an outline with just that, you already know what it is. So I would just keep it simple.
I used it before. I used it like 3 or 4 times, bro. Okay, but I didn't like it, so I was just doing straight skin.
But one thing that we didn't have that we use is a heat gun.
Yeah.
We have one now, but
Yeah.
at the time we didn't. Oh, and then also that, for skins, they're not supposed to do stencil stuff. They're supposed to use a speed stick deodorant.
Yeah, and you just heard Fernando talk about how he does not like to tattoo on fake skin.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be very interesting, especially with the fact that, based on what you just told me, it sounds like we're gonna be a little concerned about the stencil staying on.
The advantage that Raymond has is his more simpler. The disadvantage that his is gonna come off and it's complicated.
Yeah, so just before they even get started, their design choice right off the bat, it looks like Raymond's already in the lead here. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay.
Just because of the piece he's got.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so right off the bat, now that we have it slowed down, it does look like there's a little bit of an issue with that stencil. If we go back and look at it here in a second. I can't see shit. I can't see that stencil at all. Maybe it's the video, but I guess there is just enough in there. What needle is he using? Can you see that?
Looks
Is he using a mag?
15 magger.
So it looks like he's doing the art of Shane here. He's using a mag to do his line work.
Or his shapes.
Is it? Oh, he's doing the shapes?
He's doing the shape.
Okay.
Because the one he did on Justin he used most of it was a mag.
Yeah. Well, you don't really see too many hard lines on Justin's. To your point, it's creating the shapes with shadows, yeah. So as you can see here, Fernando, he was a little bit behind the 8 ball with his stenciling, but he started tattooing before Raymond. However, I don't think Raymond's at all concerned looking at Fernando's design choice versus his own. He's definitely in the lead without even putting a little bit of ink into fake skin. One thing to call out, I will say, Raymond is a gentleman here. Fernando forgot his machine, so Raymond went ahead and used his fully wired old machine and let Fernando use his wireless machine. So kudos to Raymond here. Looks like he's kind of struggling just to get started. I think at this point, Raymond's probably hoping the machine's gonna work, or else we're gonna have to start getting into that, what's that called? You get the stick with the needles, the hand poke. Yeah. He's gonna have to start whittling a stick to start doing hand poke just to get this challenge done.
And they're off.
Yeah. Look at the bottle shaking. Think that's gonna disturb one of them?
It's so crazy that we're so used to curvature that being on a flat surface that's pretty standard for people, but for us it's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
You mean it goes from left to right? It's usually, it's like a spherical.
There it is. There's the problem.
It's coming off.
Stencil is basically gone.
And that's where your eye muscle kicks in. But a lot of people are still developing.
There's not a lot there.
You can't become too dependent on the stencil. The stencil is a map, but you should never become dependent on it. You should also be able to see past it. It just helps you.
Oh no, he's wiping it all off.
Oh, it's gone.
I think
goes that.
they're about 12 minutes into the competition, and what is he gonna do here?
Well, that's not normal.
What do you think? What are his options here? Does he re-stencil? Does he
Reschedule?
reschedule? Sorry, I gotta come back, customer. Is he getting a simpler design?
Come on, Fernando. Think fast. Think on your feet.
He is. He's looking for different designs. Man, is he gonna restart? I guess if you just do that stencil thing where it takes 2 seconds, he can start fresh. I guess Raymond's not too far into it, but...
Looks like Raymond's not really having trouble.
Oh, Jason mask.
But I do notice that Raymond has it on the shinier side of the skin, so it stays a little bit better. Because the other side of the skin is more textured and it has different layers, so that's probably why it didn't stay as good.
Oh, okay.
Like the shinier side is like more stickier.
Raymond does have a few years on Fernando, so maybe the experience is paying off here. He took an easier design. Then again, he had traditional. That's kind of, you can't really get any easier, or not easier,
Like
simple.
Simple.
Yeah, you can't get any simpler. Okay, so he is going with full Jason mask. I'm not sure this stencil is going down well. Doesn't really matter because it's gonna come off pretty easy anyway.
You just gotta be careful. Outline it first. In this situation.
Let's see where Raymond's at now that we have a second stencil down from Fernando.
Oh, the lights look good on the floor.
Okay, so he's, 10, 15% in.
And this is what Raymond does, those lines.
His line work is incredible.
This is kind of too easy for him.
I think him landing on traditional was kind of a leg up to begin with.
He's like, oh no, this sucks.
Yo, traditional, shucks.
Lines.
Okay, so his stencil goes down again. I guess he didn't like the other one. It doesn't really matter though, right? Unless he has a speed stick and a heat gun. it's not going to go
Those
down.
normally you would have to let it sit for like a day or so, day or two.
Yeah.
But the heat gun would speed up this process.
And that's kind of the whole point, right? We're trying to put them in a position where they need to adapt and overcome. You know, we want to see how they react to different things. So it's not supposed to be a perfect world here. We're trying to make sure that they get a little pressure on them. All right, so Fernando's getting started on his line work of the Jason mask. I would say, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it does look a little bit more simple compared to the Chucky. So I think he'll be able to do...
Big difference. He can catch up.
You think he'll catch up?
Hopefully he can. Some good circles. It's pretty simple.
All right, so if we think about it, it's eye holes, circles, outline.
Once he gets past those circles, he can use mag. But until then, he can't use that mag right now. And the mag needle would speed up the process.
Okay. Provide some shading and depth, I assume, yeah. Damn, whoever the cameraman was is on Fernando's nuts. If only he would go back to Raymond at some point here. All we're getting is a whole bunch of Fernando. Okay, here we go. All right.
That's some good shadows in there.
The original picture?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's a badass picture.
Yeah.
I've actually seen one of those on the top of somebody's head.
Yeah. All right, well, finally the cameraman realizes Raymond is also in this competition. But, I mean, Raymond's almost done outlining.
Yeah, he found a groove. Raymond, there's no trouble right there.
Oh,
That's
shit.
good.
Fernando
He caught up really fast.
caught up real fast. But even though Raymond is done with outlining and started his shading, so is Fernando. So I think this Jason mask was a really good choice because now he's, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he's caught up.
Now it's even. Now it's like the Lakers and the Bulls playing.
Looks like he took some creative direction around the cheeks there. If you notice that his original picture has latches, and instead he just went with that little 90-degree cheek.
Probably the hardest part in there is shading around those circles to get those highlights. If you put a shadow over it, you're gonna cover up the holes. But you see each hole has a highlight in it. So that's the hard part, shading around an actual circle. See the highlights in the circles?
Okay, to make it look like there's an indent there. Yeah, just to provide depth, I got you.
Because if he just used a mag, they would just cover up.
Man, do you think he's gonna have enough time for all that?
Probably not. To be honest.
But here we go with the traditional though. It's pretty straightforward.
Raymond doesn't care, he's just in the zone. He already found his groove. Those are always a blast to do.
Traditional. Do you still do traditional at all?
I've done them here and there. They're fun. It's just, you get excited dragging like when you drag a line and it's like buttery smooth and it's saturated, it's kind of like, it's kind of exciting. And then you see like, I don't know, it's kind of fun. Like it's not like doing realism where it takes forever, but it is fun.
All right, so I'll pause it right here. Just a little bit of an update. We tried to shoot the video when we thought there was a slow time. Ended up getting a ton of customers, so we had to cut it off. These guys, of the 2 hours, they were going for about an hour and a half. So day 2, let's see where they're at. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. Oh, that's what Raymond was talking about, the bottle shaking, right? That's why he's on the tray and Fernando's on the table. Fernando has a lot of shading to do, so he's shaking that table. It was disrupting Raymond.
There go me bothering people.
Yep, trying to make it even, right? These guys now have 30 minutes. I wonder where we're at with it.
Crunch time.
Okay. So he's getting the shading in. Looks like he's getting a general shading around the whole piece. I'm not seeing any shading around the holes though yet, like you were talking about. I guess to your point, he's probably not gonna have enough time for that.
I mean, he's maneuvering the machine properly to get those good shades.
It's getting dark.
I'm like so captivated. Like watching the tat, I feel like I'm tatting.
Yeah, so with so little time, how does he get the shading out of that?
You gotta go down in 1 minute, but I'll let you clean it. You done? You guys are done? All right, go ahead.
How does he what?
So, how does he, with so little time, how does he provide enough depth to get the shading in there, right? Like when he goes into shading, because you were talking about the holes, right? The holes need shades
you
themselves.
have to go around those. Yes, and that's time consuming.
Yeah.
You kind of have to cut corners, but you can still make something look good. And cutting corners isn't the same as neglecting it. It's just more simplifying it, but still making it look good. That's the kind of corner I mean, cutting.
Yeah.
So he can do that and still make it look good. I wouldn't focus so much on too much shading detail. I would adjust enough to make it make sense.
Okay. And is there anything he can do from the mask standpoint and like the way he shades?
Honestly, like a tattoo or a piece, dude, you can go forever.
Yeah.
It's up to you. It's like, when does it end? You can just keep going and going. You're always gonna find something. So you kind of have to know when to stop.
Okay. So it looks like we are down to the last minutes. And both of them don't need that last minute. They feel like their work is done. Probably there's no reason to even tattoo anymore. So, all right, man, that was the process. Now we're gonna get in there and you're gonna judge it.
All right, guys, the big reveal is here. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. It's good, you know. Got a little shaky on the bottom, but it's good. Kind of went out of the thing. But overall, I would give this a 8.
All right, I'll take it.
Fernie? It's my favorite realism.
Uh-oh. You have a bias, Judge?
Get his hat over here.
Oh, this looks, it's good. It's a little bit rushed, but I know you guys were short on time. I see a couple, if this was real, you know, you would have dug in a little bit too much. So on a scale of 1 through 10, I give this a 6.5. It looks so dark, it's like real dark overall, and it's kind of, it's rushed, but I expect better. I expect better of you. I expect better of you, Fernando. The winner. I award you this, our plaque, the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
But I'm not Hispanic.
Oh shit. All right, guys, that's the challenge. If you have any ideas for a better challenge, let us know.